What we're faced with, or so it appears, is the secular equivalent of drafting the Ten Commandments. Now, each nation has its own criminal statutes, but for the world at large, none exist.
None are necessary. We're trying war criminals whose guilt is unquestioned by the governments we represent.
General, if we're going to have a trial, it must be based on law. It must be a fair trial.
It must only determine degree of guilt and appropriate punishment.
A completely fair trial with opposing counsel, direct examination, and cross-examination.
Precisely.
Before judges that act as referees.
As in a sporting match? That is not the way it is done in my country.
No, in France, lawyers merely help the accused prepare a defense. They have little role in the court itself.
In the United States, a defendant is entitled to his lawyer's most aggressive representation.
Yes, as in Britain.
You would allow a man such as Ernst Kaltenbrunner, responsible for the Gestapo, concentration camps, for killing millions of innocent people, to stand before a court of law and declare himself not guilty?
That is precisely what we would allow.
20 million of my people were killed by these fascist criminals. Half of them civilians, killed without mercy. How many died in Washington this way, Mr. Justice Jackson?
General, it occurs to me that perhaps separate trials might be the most satisfactory way to reconcile our differences. The United States and the British, along with the French if they choose, will conduct a trial with the Nazis that we currently have in captivity. Kaltenbrunner, Frank, Speer, Goering. And the Russians, of course, would be free to hold their own trial with the ones that you have on hand.
There is no need to be so impulsive. We are, after all, allies. We must try to bridge our differences.
Well, at least the prosecution's a unified group now, even if we did have to compromise with the French and let the judges be the jury.
I must say, your neat little trump card turned Comrade General into a pussycat.
Well, I didn't enjoy playing it. I didn't want to sandbag the poor guy. I would have preferred to convince him.
Oh, your boy was quite convinced by your subtle reminder that we've got most of the big Nazi fish, while they only have a couple of minnows.
Nonetheless, I couldn't argue his point. My country was spared the worst of it. No bombed-out cities, no slaughtered children. I couldn't begin to know. How is it you can look out on all of this and still want to guarantee these men a vigorous defense?
I want to put National Socialism on trial, so they'll incriminate themselves. Besides, I don't ever want this to happen again. Well, there's no question you're the undisputed leader in all this. Today proved that. So when we finished our work here, you better go to Germany, find a place for the trial. If anything still exists, that is.